Ben Moshe, are you here? Well, get up here on stage so I can introduce you. This is Guy Ben Moshe. He has been doing stuff with the Pun-Off for many years. How long have you been an MC?
Been a contestant since '92 and an MC since 2008.
Great. Guy will be hosting in the first round. And our other partner in crime up here, Gary. Well, Gary Halleck. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago, after 25 years, he retired as producer of the Pun-Off, and I'm honored to do it now, but I'm also honored to have him back as an MC emeritus, a co-host of the first round with Guy, and, well, gee, you've done this for a while. I'll give you the mic.
Yes, thank you, David. David, every time people ask me, are you still producing the Pun-Off? I say, well, I still feel like I'm doing everything, but officially David is the producer. And so the reason I had to retire from the Pun-Off was because I couldn't cope with it. And so I decided I needed a co-producer. So officially, and where money is concerned, David is the one that is producing the Pun-Off, and all I'm doing is just running around like a madman as usual, and now I don't get paid for it.
Well, by the way, Gary has been decorating the stage for many years. He did it again this year.
Thank you. Just another stage I'm going through.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll be the one who's introducing the new contestant. So if you come to the stage left over here, number one contestant should be here already for the Pun-Off. I wanted to mention that this is the 40th year for the Pun-Offs. The same as Ringling Brothers Circus, which closes May. This is the last month for Ringling Brothers Circus. And, you know, a lot of people who used to be in rock and roll went to work for the Ringling Brothers Circus. That's not a well-known fact. I used to see two old rock and rollers feeding the elephants. They were hauling oats. They wouldn't let those guys feed the tigers that went to the old girls group, the Bengals. But Ringling Brothers stopped letting the old rock and rollers feed the animals when the lions developed a taste for meatloaf.
Thank you, Guy Moshe. He promised me that was all he was going to do, just 3 puns today, right?
In and out.
We've got our standards here, and to let you all know what we judge on, this is the official definition of a pun that we use. A pun is the humorous use of a word or words in such a way to suggest different meanings or applications, or words that have the same or nearly the same sound but different meanings.
Got that? Now forget it.
Okay, now
just forget it, because
if you get a chance while you're here, there's an exhibit over here in the Susanna Dickinson Museum about 40 years of the Pun-Off. There was a game there called Is It a Pun? If you were wondering about, are you good at judging what a pun is or not? There was an interactive game there you can play. I hope you like it.
And the museum is open today for viewing of that exhibit. So if you get tired of this, and I can't imagine you would, just go on in there and look around. It only takes a few minutes to take care of it. No, I was joking. Now forget the definition of a pun. For Punniest of Show, we generally just kind of let people go on their own if they're making a pun or a rhyme or a historical reference or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. The judges know what is a pun and what is not a pun, and they're going to score you accordingly. So if you're full of puns, you got lots of them, lots of pun power, they're going to give you credit for it. If you're just going to skate by and just do references or something, they'll see you coming. Later on in the show, in the Punslinger show, we tighten up the rules, and you have to follow the actual rules, and we'll give you a little lesson on that at the time. I need to take a moment here to address a kind of a sensitive issue. A lot of people are from out of state here, but our governor Abbott is strongly behind now what they're calling the bathroom bill, and we are. I say, God, it's going to be so expensive. I say, hey, Abbott, what's the cost? Hello. Anyway, he just sent us this little missive here that we have to follow, and I'm sorry, it's just perfunctory. It's just going to take a second to read it. It's not very long. but I am contractually obliged to read this. Here at the Pun-Off, we traditionally have joked about our array of temporary toilets. As though Henry's real name was William Sidney Porter, we enjoy referring to them as Porter Potties. And we have often suggested that they are an appropriate place for punsters to begin their vowel movements. We have always been very open-minded and tried to be accommodating people from every waka waka of laugh. Be they estrogen Americans, French comedians, bi-party sons, or even raving anti-semantics. But no matter what laugh style you have chosen, even if you have hidden a gender, it didn't really matter because our facilities have been hysterically undesignated. Well, now, as you know, everything relating to bathrooms and restrooms is a bit more complicated these days, so it's really no longer possible to remain seated and just take a pass on this issue. It's high time to take a stand. Thus, we have hired our new restroom monitor named Bathroom Bill. Stand up, Bathroom Bill. Bathroom Bill, he's on the judge panel here. Bathroom Bill. He's going to be on duty today. Yes, David, I did say duty. He's going to be on duty today, and he's charged with the task of seeing that anyone who chooses to use our facilities is in compliance with all the latest rules and regulations. Hey, I'm not kidding here. You really should know me better than that. It's your innate right to have privy, see? Now, we considered knuckling under to the powers that be by asking everyone to show their birth certificates so that they could have something to go on. But we realized, though, that failure to do so could result in a restroom. It wouldn't kill you, but you might arrest in peace, and you would have to be tried by a jury of your peers. Stop me if you've heard this before. No, we surely hope it doesn't come to that, but don't call me Shirley. I guess I can now cross dressing off my list. Our number one problem is that for the genital public, most bathroom facilities are hysterically undesignated. They're hysterically designated for female and email. But is that right? Oh, here today. We have had some trouble properly communicating this, probably due to transmission difficulties. We're not sure which number to use. I should note parenthetically that if you're into sibling revelry, it might be good for us to document your brother and cisgender, but we're not going to incest. This rule is non-binary, so there's no peer pressure. We're just interested in complete transparency. It's our new mandate. Not that there's anything wrong with that, a mandate. I'm almost finished here. The judges are not going to score me on this, I hope. I'm sure many of you are curious by now, excuse me. And a large number, too. Yes, thank you. Right on cue. Perhaps you're thinking that this gag has gone on far too long. And I suppose you're guessing that this is all a big joke. So allow me to clear the air because some may be missing the point. We did find ourselves at the last minute rushing to arrange golden showers, but that violates our American standards. Besides, we were really not sure if you're into that, and we didn't want to have our efforts go to waste. Speaking of going to waste, which we ultimately are, I came up with the idea of doing like some restaurants do and post some cleverly ambiguous signs using celebrity names. Things like Rosie O'Donnell, George Foreman Grills, Pee-wee Her Man, Alien Degenerates, and of course, all punsters' favorite, Huge Jack Man. But in the end, being a contest that's sponsored by the Austin Parks and Recreation Department, we knew this was going to be a city job that somebody's got to do with. So ultimately, we decided to just let the World Championships happen. Ships happen. Thank you very much.